It is football season officially, folks. I'm in Atlanta. Jared's in Atlanta. Ken is in Atlanta. Chris not in Atlanta because Ken didn't have the budget to take all of us to Atlanta, which is a drop ball on his part. But we're all going to be here covering the football game tonight. The MEAC SWAC Challenge for you because we care about you despite the fact Ken doesn't have money in the budget. Have everybody go. Welcome to another edition of HBCU Sports Live. I'm Kendrick. That's Jared, Chris, and the man in charge, Ken Rashad. We're here to talk to you about the start of another HBCU football season that begins tonight with two games. One starts tonight and one starts when everybody's sleeping. And we'll break it all down for you over the next hour or so. And we'll also give you predictions for the season, like who's going to be right back here in Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl coming up in December, and who on the D2 side could make a run in the postseason there. So fellas, how excited are we that football today, even though it's week 0, people don't think it counts, but how excited are we that football is back?
It's been a long summer. I mean, we've covered a little bit of everything under the sun. I mean, because there has been no shortage of shenanigans and news in the Black college sports world, but we're definitely glad to be back. Hopefully I can join you guys in Atlanta in December, but, overall, very much excited for the start of the season. Going to try to stay up late because, as you can see by the little note under my name, I am very much a nervous Delaware State alum as they take on Hawaii tonight, and we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Yeah, Chris has been through the gutter this week, man, as an alum of the school, man. I feel sorry for the kid, man.
Kendrick, let me tell you something, man. The college football season officially / unofficially hasn't even started yet. And of all the things that we can be talking about right now, you start off talking about travel budgets. All I will simply say is this, okay? Since you're gonna put my business out there, I think I understand why the MEAC had those travel issues when teams from Florida had to travel to Delaware. Okay? Cost money. Chris, where do you live?
Wilmington, Delaware.
And you think I'm gonna pay a ticket for Chris to fly from Delaware to Atlanta? Come on, man. No, that ain't the reason why. Don't y'all fall for that lie Kendrick told y'all, man. That's a big lie anyway.
This coming from the guy who says I'm too expensive for him.
You are.
And so that's not a lie?
You are. You are.
All right, whatever you say,
you are
man.
very expensive. Very expensive. Anyway. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we're here to talk football, though. This is what the people want. And there's a pretty important game tonight that has a lot of parameters to it. It's going to be one giant big unknown. You got a first-year head coach in James Coates of Florida A&M going up against a veteran coach who may or may not be in the hot seat in Dawson Odoms, who this week had to change their quarterback. But because of an eligibility issue, and Florida A&M named their quarterback this week after a fall camp battle. So Florida A&M taking on Norfolk State in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. Old MEAC rivals going at it for the first time since FAMU left the MEAC to join the strongest conference in Black college football, the SWAC. Fellas, how are we handicapping this one? Florida A&M obviously going to be the favorite in this game because they're the defending HBCU champs. Norfolk State, they're coming off a 3-win season. How are we looking, starting with Chris?
Well, Florida A&M has had no shortage of shenanigans and news, as I alluded to in the intro. But now is the time for those guys to get on the field and do what they do best, and that's play football at a HBCU championship level. James Colsey named Dan Richardson the starter this week, a kid who come from is it Florida Atlantic or Florida International? Somebody please remind me.
Florida Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic. Thank you, Jared. And he has a ton of experience. And when you're replacing SWAC Offensive Player of the Year and Jeremy Musa, you definitely need some experience at quarterback, which is probably what's going to hurt Norfolk State because they'll be starting Jalen Daniels and Otto Coons, who We are still trying to figure out the reason he will miss the first 4 games in the 2024 season. But all Dawson Odoms would allude to in the MEAC coaches conference this week is that they planned for this. They knew this was a possibility, but he didn't say the actual parameters and details of why Mr. Coons, the preseason first team all conference quarterback, would not be playing the first 4 games. So the advantage for Florida A&M, definitely resting the experience of quarterback. But Norfolk State, in their 8 losses last year, 7 of those came down to the final minute. So it's probably just a matter of finishing for the guys that remain, but the quarterback situation is really going to be one to watch on both sides.
Jared Hoffman, you got an opportunity yesterday to talk with Florida A&M beat writer for the Tallahassee Democrat, Gerald Thomas. He had a pretty strong opinion that FAMU was still going to be the team to beat, and they would kind of show that tonight. Do you agree with that?
As far as them being the team to beat in the SWAC, I think that comes naturally because they're defending SWAC champions. Now, there's a lot of uncertainties in the SWAC. Nobody has any real separation between them in the SWAC East and in the SWAC West. So, yes, Florida A&M is the team to beat because they are the champions. They come in with the advantage of everyone else. But something interesting from that interview that I had with the Tallahassee Democrat reporter was that Kelvin Dean said that last year's team won the championship. This team didn't. So they don't come into this season with a championship mindset. They come in with a team that has a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove, so if you're expecting this team to be overconfident and to have some bravado about them, nip that in the bud now. This is a completely different team with something to prove. They are fighting against expectations. They were not finished. They were not picked to finish at the top of the SWAC East in the predicted order of finish, something that was also alluded to in our interview. So, yes, this is a team that will be the team to beat, but they don't carry themselves in that manner.
Ken Rashad, you are very familiar with Dawson Odoms, considering his time in the SWAC with Southern for all those years. To me, this is a pretty big game for them and for him too, and his tenure at Norfolk State. Overall, 11-23, last 4 years he's been there. How important of it is this game for him from a standpoint of giving confidence to his football team and reassuring everybody that this program is heading in the right direction?
I'm gonna tell you, man, not only is this game important, the season is important. When Dawson Odoms made the decision to leave Southern to go to Norfolk State hired Dawson Odoms with the intent on transforming that team from where it was at the time to something much better than what we've witnessed since he has been at Norfolk State. Now, you can say that maybe there have been some challenges. There's always the case where, what he was possibly promised wasn't necessarily delivered with respect to resources and everything else that comes along with that. But I think that when you look at what Dawson Odoms has done from the time that he's gotten there, I think it's safe to say that he hasn't delivered. Now, granted, as was already stated, there have been some close calls. A game here, a game there, and Norfolk State could be in a totally different situation. So I would just simply say this to answer your question. Dawson Odoms, this game isn't just a big game. It is a big game, but this season is a big game. He could lose this game, and I think we'll still be okay. But I think a lot of it is going to be based upon, I hate to call it a pretty loss, but if they show some level of a competitive spirit in the event of, or they could very well win it all together. But I just think that this game is going to say a lot. But even if for whatever reason, if Norfolk State happens to fall short, there's still plenty of season to see what this team ultimately will be about, especially when they start playing those conference games. So yes, it's a big game, but this is without question a big season for Dawson Odoms and the Norfolk State football program.
Yeah, we all know Norfolk State is not going to be favored in this game tonight, but what do they have to look like to prove to everybody that they are going in the right direction? Does it have to be like a one-score game? Do it have to hang in there for a half? Do it have to take a lead at some point tonight? So what will they have to look like in order for everybody to say, okay, this is not going to be like the previous years of Norfolk State football?
Well, so to answer that question, Kendrick, and this may very well be, I don't. Okay, in the case of Norfolk State, and I'm not necessarily trying to elevate one or the other. You're playing against FAMU, the team that won the SWAC championship last year, team that won the Celebration Bowl last year, the defending HBCU national champions, if you will. If you look at it from their standpoint, if you look at it from the fan standpoint, this is considered as a sexy opponent. And I think that maybe one touchdown, or if they lose by, whether it be a touchdown, whether it be by 3 points, whether it be by 2 points or 1 point, a one score margin, if there is competitiveness, if there appears to be a situation where they're literally giving FAMU team fits, I think there is something to be hopeful for. So I think that's what we're looking at. I think a lot of this is all based upon the fact that it's a Norfolk State team that struggled last year and hasn't necessarily gotten to the point to where people expect this team to be, especially since Dawson Odums had taken place. But when you put in consideration who the opponent is, a team that, like you said before, was a former MEAC team, FAMU, I think that if for whatever reason, if Norfolk State early on punches FAMU in the mouth and maybe takes an early lead, I don't know, by 1 or 2 scores, that could very well prove to be momentum, regardless of what the outcome may be going into the rest of the season.
Okay.
Jared, feel free to disagree.
Yeah, like I would say they would have to hang in there with FAMU the entire four quarters tonight in order to give some reassurance that, hey, like, okay, we're going to be competitive this year. But they were competitive last year too. They lost a lot of one-score games in the fourth quarter, and that's either indication of like they're this close or they're just that much far away. But Jared, what say you about Norfolk State? They come in this game with a new quarterback. Otto Coons can't play because of eligibility issues. Does this hurt their chances even more to try to stay with FAMU, or him being an unknown might in some ways kind of help them out?
I talked about this when we a couple of days ago on another stream, is that unknown could help or hurt. We don't know. But I think the thing that remains the same is that they were going to be at a deficit no matter who was at quarterback for them. This is a Florida A&M team that on paper, even with all the changes that, they went through in the offseason, they still look leaps and bounds ahead of Norfolk State. And they're going to battle against that. The key for Norfolk State is how good their defense will play. I don't even think that the offense is going to be the key for them. I think it's going to be how well their defense plays. Because if we remember, Florida A&M had a lot of inconsistencies on offense last year, and it allowed other teams to remain close longer than they should have against Florida A&M. And then the defense is who, finished the job for them. I think if Norfolk State's defense is able to be strong early against Florida A&M, potentially get some stops and get some points on the board, setting your offense up with a short field to get some points on the board, I think that will be Norfolk State's key to winning this game.
Chris, what says you?
Yeah, I agree with Jared. If you can give Jalen Daniels a short field, you maximize your chances of victory, because Florida A&M is one of those teams that, like Kendrick said, like Jared said, one of y'all said that they had trouble on offense last year. I couldn't remember which one of y'all just said it that quickly. But if Florida A&M's offense doesn't show up, then that gives Norfolk State even more of a chance to win. But it's just going to be a matter of the unknown. I mean, Jalen Daniels, he doesn't come completely untested. He walked on at South Carolina, didn't get a chance to play, went to Garden City Community College in Kansas, completed 57% of his passes, nearly 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. So it's not like he's never played post-high school football before. But, again, Florida A&M is not Central Iowa Community College by any stretch of the imagination. This is a totally different animal, literally, that he's facing in the Raptors. So if his nerves if they can calm his nerves down in Florida and Norfolk State, one thing they have going for them is returning pretty much 4/5 of their offensive line from last year. So if those young men that played last year, and Coons was pretty much a clean quarterback for the most part in 2023. So if they can keep Jalen Daniels, from, finding out what exactly is the synthetic turf at Center Park Field is made of, then they'll have a really good chance to win that ball game. But overall, it really, again, like Jared said, it depends on their defense. If Norfolk State defense can take advantage of Florida A&M's inconsistency in that and give Jalen Daniels a short field, that definitely maximizes Norfolk State's chances at a dub.
Yeah, for me, I think a lot has to go right for Norfolk State to win this game. They got to play pretty much clean football throughout. Every coach says that. It sounds like coach speak, but it's true for them, especially considering a lot of the roster hurdles they have to overcome, not being as talented as Florida A&M and trying to break into a brand new quarterback who's a transfer. They're going to have to pretty much play perfect football to not only stay in the game, but have a chance to win. But on the other side, you got Florida A&M, as we talked about at length. They've been the defending Celebration Bowl champions, defending SWAC champs, Black College football champs. They have some questions to answer too. Like, this is James Cozy's first game after taking over for Willie Simmons, who left for Duke to be their running backs coach. They don't have Jeremy Musa anymore. They don't have a lot of members of their great defense from a year ago, including Defensive Player of the Year Isaiah Major. So what questions, fellas, does Florida A&M have to answer tonight? Coming off the season they did and all the changes that went on with them in the offseason.
They have to – sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
They have to establish dominance the way they did in last year's MEAC SWAC Challenge. And granted, that was a South Carolina State team that was really super young. And they won. I mean, but they still went out there with the intentions of winning for Buddy Pugh because we found out the week before.
That's State. That's the State they was in it last year. Okay,
wrong game then. Well, they came out really strong against Jackson State in the Orange Blossom Classic. Either one of the two. But that Florida A&M team, they have to really set a tone like they did last year and let everybody know that, yes, we lost our player of the year on offense and defense. Yes, our coach is gone. Our old coach is gone. A few of our kids hit the portal. But we're still Florida A&M. We're still the highest of the Seven Hills. We still brag different, even though this offseason there wasn't that much to brag about off the field. But if they can if they can establish that dominance and let everybody know that they are still the team to beat in the SWAC, as Gerald Thomas III said, then yes, they'll go a long way towards winning this game. But if it's kind of shaky, if Norfolk State is up like 14-3, 17-3, or 21-10 at some point, then some questions are really going to have to be asked because you got to get nervous, figuring that this is a team that they should beat and they're falling behind by 2 scores. That's a big if, though.
Ken Rashad, your thoughts?
What's the question again?
What does FAMU have to prove tonight, sir?
A lot. Look, man, I cannot overlook the administrative debacles that we witnessed during the offseason that got us to this point with respect to the decision during the time of AD Tiffany Sykes to go with someone else as opposed to who we are, who Florida A&M's current coach is. Now, granted, I understand alums wanted Cozy. He's there. I have to wonder, though, granted, this is him in the role of head coach of Florida A&M. High expectations with the intent with respect to FAMU. They want him to repeat and do the same thing that Willie Simmons did last year. Like you said, no Jeremy Musa. It wasn't a complete roster overhaul, but does he have the chops to get the job done? And I think it really comes down to that. So he's got a lot to prove. I'm not going to necessarily say to himself, but he's got a lot to prove to many. And for him to have had the support of the fans and the players, the people who actually wanted him there, it's time for him to deliver. And I'm not saying that he can't. I'm not saying that he won't. I'm not saying that he will. I'm just simply saying that given everything that has gotten him to this point, I'm not going to say it's time to put up or shut up, but it is time to make a statement.
Jared Hoffman, you?
Yeah, I definitely echo the sentiments of James Colsey. You know, when former AD Tiffany Dawn Sykes suggested Sean Gibbs, currently the Fort Valley State head coach, for this position of head coach, there was a complete uproar. Despite the fact that Sean Gibbs in his first season at Fort Valley State led the team to an 8-3 record and a win in the inaugural Florida Beach Bowl. Someone who has widespread credentials across Division I football. And we've seen how they feel about people who don't have success in the Division I level. So he's somebody that's had Division I experience as an assistant coach, but he's had Division I experience as a coach. And you said, no, we want to keep it in-house. So you suggested Colsey, you got Colsey, and now the pressure is all on him to deliver for you. Because if he is not able to deliver this season, then you got egg on your face because that's who you wanted. Now, does that mean it's going to be his fault if they lose? No. But because of all of the things that you did to keep Sean Gibbs from being in this position where he should be, where he would have been had you not interfered, now that pressure goes to him because of that. As far as, what was the original question?
Nobody knows the questions. What are we doing here, man? All of us are
I
journalists
was
here.
rambling so
Jesus
much, I
Christ.
forgot the original question.
The question was, in some form or another, does Florida A&M have anything to prove tonight? Or what do they have to prove tonight?
Oh, what do they have to prove? They have to prove that you're wrong to think that they're not the favorite just because of all the changes that they went through. They have to set the tone, as Chris said, from the first drive. Last year, it was setting the tone from the opening kickoff. If that happens here, cool, but more than likely it'll be from the first drive. Daniel Richardson has to make a statement that he is not just one of these Division I guys that comes to Florida A&M to get more playing time. He has to prove that he is elite and he will keep Florida A&M at that elite level. Whoever the receivers will be that he's throwing to have to help him out. Kelvin Dean and all the other running backs that will be getting carries out of the backfield are going to have to prove that offense is not the same as last year, that they have to shake off those inconsistent tendencies, and the defense has to prove that they are still the dark cloud. There's a lot of changes that went through it. It's not just Isaiah Major. It's also General Hunt. It's also Johnny Chaney, two guys who were named to the all SWAC team last year. Kendall Bowler is playing not just for the respect of his team, but he's also playing for the next level. He's a guy that will be on those draft boards. He will have the attention of NFL teams. He has to come out and show that he can be a dominant corner at the next level. He can play in different coverages. He can guard different matchups. So as far as what they have to prove, is just that they have to prove that they can defy expectations, basically.
And for those of you who are watching, take a moment and feel free to list your predictions in the chat, and we'll publish. Who do you think will win this game, the MEAC SWAC Challenge, between FAMU and Norfolk State? Take a moment, participate in the chat. And since we're talking about the chat, we'll pause here just to let you guys know that you guys now have the opportunity to become members of the HBCU Sports YouTube channel. We have level 1, level 2, and level 3 opportunities. And for as little as $4.99 a month, you have an opportunity to support this channel. And even with the opportunity at times to get some special content delivered to you, as well as the opportunity to get discounts on select merchandise. So by all means, bless us, support us, and take a moment to become a member of the HBCU Sports YouTube channel. So I have provided you with my commercial break. So let's continue talking about this game. Okay. All right.
And that's a great segue, Ken, to get predictions. Who wins tonight? I think I have a feeling how everybody's going to lean. But
do you
have to pick? See, man, you'll start this again, man.
Do you? I know I'm serious. I'm serious.
I think I do.
Okay.
There's somebody who out there who wants to go on a big fat limb or something like that. Yeah, but like, tell me who wins and why they win, and what will be the difference in the outcome. Starting with Chris.
I have Florida A&M 30-13, simply because Norfolk State just has too many unknowns with the quarterback situation. I mean, the young man, as I said, he played at a community college level, but now he's stepping up to what amounts to the big time for him. Yes, he was at South Carolina, but he didn't get a chance to play at South Carolina. Now he's facing the defending Black College national champions, as Jared said, with a lot to prove and a lot of ways to prove it. So I feel like that defense is going to reestablish its dominance. I mean, against a Norfolk State team with an offense that still has some questions. I feel like Daniel Richardson's going to have a chance to showcase his arm. All the guys have to do is catch it. And this is still Florida A&M. I mean, yeah, we crack jokes on Florida A&M all summer long. And I was the cheerleader. I was Steve Harvey with these jokes. But once we get on the football field, Florida A&M, until further notice, is the defending Black College national champ. So I have Florida A&M winning 30-13 just through the experience factor and the fact that they're going to be a stubborn rattlesnake all year long.
Yeah, Jared Hoffman.
I also have Florida A&M. I have them 28 to, we'll say 10. I think that Florida A&M gets out early, puts Norfolk State away early, and they are able to maintain. Like I said before, Norfolk State's only chance of winning this game is getting stops on defense and giving their offense a short field. I don't think, but even with that, they're still going to have to deal with Florida A&M's defense. And that's no easy task. I don't care who's on that unit. Florida A&M's defense has shown that they can put multiple guys in and they can all be effective. And I think they have enough talent to deter that that Norfolk State offense. But one player that I want to highlight from Norfolk State that I think could make his presence known, of course, he's a Division II guy, lane transfer, Jaquez Jones, wide receiver. I think he will be a guy that could help the transition of, who's the JUCO transfer quarterback now?
Jalen Daniels.
Jalen Daniels. I think he's a guy that can help him make this transition. He is a big play receiver. I think he is a guy that will translate from the Division II level to the Division I level. I don't think it'll lead to a win, but I think he's a guy that could help alleviate some of the pressure coming into this game for him. But I have Florida A&M winning at 28-10.
I'm going to regret this, but I'll say it anyway. Ken Rashard, you're next.
No, this is I own this. I'm going last.
Oh, see, boss moves. He always calls me the boss, but look at him. Boss moves.
I'm going last.
Okay. I say FAMU wins pretty easily. This kind of reminds me of last year's game between JSU and South Carolina State, where similar situation, first year head coach with the SWAC side going up against a veteran coach from the MEAC side, and the SWAC side with a new quarterback, first year coach, boat race the MEAC team. I think it's going to be similar to what we saw last year. I got Florida A&M winning 31-10. I just think Norfolk State got too much to overcome right now. Talent wise, and just matchup wise for them to be in this football game for very long. Sad to say, but that's the way it is. I know that doesn't mean don't watch this football game. Please watch ABC tonight. But we all kind of think right now that the Florida A&M is a better team. Okay, now Kim Rashad.
Okay, so you guys know how I am traditionally when it comes to these contests, whether it be the MEAC SWAC Challenge or the Celebration Bowl. You guys know me. I say, hey, I'm a Grambling man, but if Grambling ain't it, I'm with the SWAC team because I'm a SWAC man. All right, but let me tell you, I'm about to get petty.
That's why I regret saying that. I'm
about to get real petty.
Here we go.
Let me tell you something, man. I went to work out this morning, and just so you guys know, I am staying in the same hotel where the Norfolk State team is. Didn't know I was staying there, but that's where I am. And so I got up this morning feeling energized and motivated. I said, you know what? I'm going to go work out this morning. And so I went to the workout room. I swear to you, I'm not making this up. I go to the workout room. There's only one person in the workout room. Guess who it was? It was the man, Big Worm himself, Dawson Owens, on the elliptical machine. And when I tell you that brother looked like he was a man on a mission, I was like, is that Coach? And you could tell he had already been doing it for a while because he had that sweat. I mean, he was, I'm like, damn, Coach. I'm like, okay, well, now I can't come in here and be no punk. So I'm getting up here now. I'm getting on the machines and I'm lifting my weights, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, all right, so now I'm about to get on the treadmill. Meanwhile, I'm about 15 minutes in. Dawson Owens, he's still doing this thing. I'm like, this dude is determined. So now I'm motivated. I said, I'm gonna do this treadmill. I'm gonna get intense. And when he stops, if he stops, I'm gonna go as long as he goes. I don't know how long he's gonna go, but I'm gonna go. And so I'm doing my thing. And so finally he stops and he leaves. Now, what does that have to do with today's game? Not a damn thing.
I was wondering where this was going.
I was wondering where it was going.
Okay. So, but I like y'all were gonna say that, okay, given what we know and given how everything looks right now, we can go with FAMU. But I'm telling you now, I'm gonna change my mind. You know why? Because of this right here. This post. Take that down, Kendrick. Take that down. This post right here. The sad thing is, even with a decisive victory, you guys are Team Tiffany and hoping for FAMU's downfall. Sad. Now, despite the fact that I've told you guys in the past, I went to FAMU. I complimented you guys. I said how wonderful that campus was. I told you how wonderful that environment was. I said your game day experience was phenomenal and all that good stuff. I said nothing but positive things about FAMU. We are not Team Tiffany, but we do believe Tiffany got a raw deal. I still stand by that. Had nothing to do with FAMU's downfall. Yeah, we talked about the 9-figure donation. That wasn't a donation. It had nothing to do with FAMU's downfall. That was self-inflicted. Had nothing to do with us. But EA, you want to get petty. And you know what? I'm going to give you your wish. Behold, the green and gold. Now, I don't wish FAMU's downfall. But just because of you, damn it, you know what? I'm going with Norfolk State. You guys don't understand. Look, man, we are journalists. We don't, we got opinions, but we don't ignore the facts. But if you're gonna get in your feelings, EA, guess what? I'm gonna get in mine. Dawson Odom was on that lifting machine, and I believe he was saying, I'm gonna beat their asses. I'm gonna beat their asses. They left the MEAC. I'm gonna beat their asses for leaving. So yeah, EA,
Lord have mercy.
Norfolk State in the upset. I'm done.
Can I,
Jared, go ahead.
I would like to petition for HBCU Sports to create Team Tiffany shirts. I would wear that shirt.
Same.
Hey,
Yes.
if you want us to be Team Tiffany, I will be Team Tiffany. Hey, I ain't got no problem being Team Tiffany.
You know what, man?
Mhm.
Look, I literally thought, I'm thinking, you know what, man, this, you know, I don't want to say it was going to be a blowout, and as someone said, I actually hope this game is pretty close, you know. But now I'm just telling you now. All right, Norfolk State, let's do this. I don't ever go against a SWAC school, but EA, you screwed this up. This is all on you.
The Baptist finger is lit today. We had Jared Dale Kendrick.
Yeah, I want to say, so you said Dawson Odom is motivated because you left the MEAC, but he left the SWAC to go to the MEAC. So why wouldn't there be retribution on the other side?
Hey, man, that was a business decision.
All of it's a business decision.
Look, let me stand on what I stand on right now. I don't need you challenging Norfolk State in the upset. Okay.
But you didn't even explain how they're going to win, except for saying, I saw Dawson Odom in the gym working out.
Did I not tell you that this was a petty explanation? I told you this was petty. This is emotional. This is inspirational. Dawson Odom is determined. I saw him on that elliptical machine.
Is he going to play tonight or something?
You know what? He just might. I'm telling you right now, man. Dawson Odom might find somebody. He might come up with some eligibility. I don't know. I'm just saying, man. Look, I'm being silly, of course.
Oh God.
All I'm saying is that man was getting okay. And that was inspirational. And he ain't coming in here with that BS talking about we want FAMU's downfall. Don't know. I never wanted HBCU's downfall. I didn't go to either school. Y'all know this. But EA want to get petty. So I'm getting petty. And I am justified in getting petty. Damn it. This is my operation. I can do what I want to do. In the words of Bobby Brown.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure that
Behold the green and gold.
Soon.
Behold the green and gold. Behold the green and gold.
What's Grambling's motto again? What is it?
Huh?
What's Grambling's motto?
The greatest institution in the history of the universe.
That's not what it says.
That's what I'm saying. Grambling ain't in this. Ain't even in this. Now.
Oh man.
Behold the green and gold. Okay.
For today. Behold the green and gold. No cheering in the press box. But this is all EA's fault. So you folks don't be coming at me. This is your boy EA's fault.
I would like to just publicly thank EA for giving us that great content.
Yes.
It's going to be on TikTok, EA. Be prepared for
EA, I don't know who you are, EA, or if you even a real person, but hey, man, you just gave us some great content, some great quality content.
Grambling according to Karen, Grambling is a library school, not a football
Man,
school.
look, we have just launched the state's only digital library. It is very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Digital, all digital, all digital, all digital. But again, this is the MEAC SWAC challenge, and we are not talking about Grambling. We are talking about Florida A&M, and we're talking about Norfolk State. Okay, I'm just simply saying, man. I saw the determination on Dawson Odom's face this morning, man. I'm telling you. We are going to revisit this moment, and you guys are going to say Ken Rashad was right. I'm just saying. You know how these things happen, man. You know, look, that may be bulletin board material. It may be bulletin board material. Dawson Odom will go into that locker room. He says, "Look, man, I saw the HBCU Sports live stream this morning, and every single reporter picked FAMU except for my friend, the one who only had sense. It was Ken Rashad."
He's your friend now?
Well, he's not my enemy.
Is he your friend, though? That's the question. Is he your friend?
He's not my enemy.
So that's no. Okay.
But I mean,
Oh, boy.
we're acquaintances. He was coming off the elevator yesterday. I was getting off, and he said, "Hello, how you doing? Good to see you." You know, it's not like we're BFFs, but you know, I think if I were to leave him a message, he'd call back. You know, way to put in that work, Dawson Odoms. My friend Dawson Odoms.
His friend Dawson Odoms. No cheering in the press box, but bias on the live stream. Okay. Yeah, Edwin, tell him. A former SU coach is a friend of a Grambling graduate.
Hey man,
Interesting.
Edwin is my friend. Me and Edwin, look, Edwin and I would go and meet. It's been a while, but Edwin and I used to meet every single night before the Bayou Classic in the French Quarters at Pat O'Ryan's. He and his wife, and he and my wife. We had lovely times. So, hey man, we all one big family. We all one big family. Anyway,
Except for today.
I'm just saying, man. Here we are.
Now that that's over. Oh, Ken's wife even commented on this.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Miss D, how you doing?
Hey, lovely. If you want to chime in, you know you're more than welcome to do so. If you want to. Oh, she's on Facebook. That's okay. You know what? Hey, Kendra, you got a link?
I sure do. If anybody wants to
put a link.
join the conversation,
Edwin, anybody,
look.
link
In the chat.
There 40
y'all
people
join the
watching
show
right now. So if y'all want to come in and join the show, let's have some fun. And hit that like button, by the way, please. Hit the like button. Join, become a level 1, level 2, level 3 supporter. But I would really love to have you guys come on. Let's be interactive. This is the start of the football season, man. I'm watching Florida State right now and Georgia Tech. They're playing right now, and I think they're in Ireland.
Yeah, I don't get the connection between Georgia Tech and Florida State playing in Ireland. I don't know what the roots are for that.
I know it'd be more like Notre Dame or something, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But put you got the link?
Yes, the link is in the chat. Everybody has access to it.
Okay. All right.
EA said if you said he had on a bonnet and asked where my money, Ken, that might sound intimidating. I had warned you too many times. Warned you too many times about my money smoke. It's the principalities. It's the principality in this. I gotta watch.
We all good. We good, EA. We all good, man.
Why did it have to be a bonnet though? Why a bonnet?
Because that's what he wore in the movie.
Oh, duh. Stupid. Excuse me.
Yeah, Jared is the youngest member of our panel, so
I forgot. I simply
You forgot. Okay, you forgot.
But no, it's all good, EA. Look, man, it's all entertaining. But I still stand by my pick, though. Norfolk State in the upset, and it is your fault. This would have been a unanimous thing, but you took a cheap shot. So, but I'm saying it's all good, brother. If you see me, I don't think I've ever met you. You know, but let's holler at me if you can. I don't see that link in the chat. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Anyway, so gentlemen, I guess closing thoughts. Unless there's something else you guys want to talk about before we go.
Yeah, there actually is.
The other game.
The other game is going to be played at midnight Eastern. Delaware State finally made it to Hawaii. They're going to play the Warriors.
Are you going to be able to stay up, Chris?
If I take a nap after this stream, I should have some second wind. So yes, I think once we're done here, I'm gonna lay down for a little bit because you guys in the chat probably don't care, but I got woke up at 1:45 this morning because there was a car crash outside my neighborhood, and I still decided to get up and run 3 miles this morning for some strange reason. So I am gassed. So once this stream is over, I'm gonna lay down, take a nap, and then of course I'll be on coverage for the MEAC SWAC challenge. I'll be writing a column about it. And then, of course, after that game is over, I'm going to attempt to stay up and watch my alma mater. As you can see by my subhead, the Delaware State University take on the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Pray for my school, please.
Okay. So Chris, before we get into that, we got Chuck Hutt, who's calling in. Chuck? Can you talk?
I don't. We haven't added him to the stage.
Okay. Chuck, what's up, brother?
Oh, good. Hello. Good morning, wherever you are. good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, wherever you are around the
As,
country,
as,
world.
as Kendrick alluded to, he's in Atlanta, Jared's in Atlanta, I'm in Atlanta, and Chris, due to budget cuts, couldn't make the trip. I mean, I don't know if you saw us immediately, but Kendrick just was dying to just make that point.
Yeah, I'm in the same time zone as Kendrick. We're in the Central Time. I know it's Kendrick. You're in Chicago. I'm here in Monroe, Louisiana.
No, Kendrick is in Atlanta right now.
Oh, you're in Atlanta. Okay, you're in the Eastern Time. You're ahead. Okay. You're there for the game.
Yeah, he's here for the game. Like I said, he made it very clear that he came and Jared came and I came, but we didn't have enough money to bring Chris, which is not all true, but it's not completely a lie either. But it's a little difficult. But
hey, Chris. Hey, yes. Chris, that's good. I found you went to Delaware State. I got a chance. I saw Delaware State back in the 80s during the time of Bill Kollick. I watched him play against Southern in '86. I was at my parents and I were at that game. That was after John Taylor. Taylor was there in '85. That '85 season, they beat Southern down at Southern. People don't know that Delaware State was a powerhouse under Bill Kollick, and it's a shame that he's not being recognized. He's in Hall of Fames like the MEAC and the State of Delaware Sports Hall of Fame, but it's a shame that he's not in college nor the Black College Football Hall of Fame. And Coach Kollick won 5 MEAC championships, if I stand corrected.
Yeah, no, that's correct. There's 5. 85, 87.
Did he win 5?
Yeah, he won 5.
85,
he was there from 1985 to 1996.
85, 87, 88, 89, and 91.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had guys like he had John Taylor, and then after he had Terrence Hoover, and had he coached a lot of guys. Coached the former head coach Rod Milstead, and there's one guy I met. He was on the team with Taylor and those guys. His daughter was at school at ULM during the time. He was a wide receiver under Bill Kollick named Mike Deland. He's from New Jersey. He lives in San Antonio, Texas. Now I met him here in Monroe. They were here. He and his wife were here. Getting their daughter was getting settled in at the University of Louisiana Monroe during the time. Yeah, he was on that team. He's on those Delaware State teams under Kollick that when he's telling me they played Southern, he said he played in that game in Shreveport.
The game was in Shreveport, exactly right. Yeah, I do remember that. Chuck, Edwin said they don't talk about that game anymore. I remember.
but I had to school these young people because you make jokes about Delaware. Delaware State was a proud program. Coach Kollick had some talent out of New Jersey, that Philadelphia area, and all around that. Oh yeah, Pennsylvania. And what happened? It's just what you said, Brother Stevens. It just the college landscape has changed, and you know what? You all have a great institution. I'm looking at the pictures. You have a great aviation program. You have a lot to offer up there.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's just I think what hurt Delaware State football is a lot of people don't know this is when we had a president named Alan Sessoms, who was probably the worst president the university ever had. He wanted to, pardon anybody who may be offended by this, bleach the university, if you will. And that included adding an equestrian program. Now, so when Dr. Harry Williams came along as president, 2009, 2010, and she wanted to discontinue the equestrian program, but the equestrian program sued under that landmark legislation known as Title IX. So they couldn't just get rid of the equestrian program.
Wow.
So what the settlement was that Delaware State would drop about 15 football scholarships to make sure the equestrian team had an equal amount of scholarships to continue the program. So for 15 years, Delaware State has been basically playing with D2 scholarship level, and that is why they have not had a winning season since 2012. And granted, I felt like getting rid of Rod Milstead was a hasty decision, and I don't think Lee Hall's a bad coach, but he's definitely in a dire situation because we don't know where the rest of this money is going to come from for the rest of these football scholarships. So that's why Delaware State football has kind of fallen on hard times. But the good news is Coach Kollick is now on the board of trustees. So hopefully he can impress upon the board of trustees that, we need a strong football program to be able to succeed again.
And I've been advocating for your coach. I haven't even called Delaware. I'll try to see if somebody give him an interview. We see Willie Jeffries, people that are still around, like Willie Jeffries is still around. Mm-hmm. Coach Kollick, people need to hear his. Someone need to hear his interview, hear his story. So for young people to understand, we know about Coach Kollick, but the people, older generations know. And because I look at myself, I'll be 49 in November. And you know, I like I said, I remember his great teams, and while he's with us, while he said, give him his flowers while he's still with us, because like I said, he has a history as well.
Hey Chuck, so just so you know, we did, and thanks for joining us, brother.
Okay.
Just so you know, we did get your information, and I forwarded that information to Chris, and it is something that we are literally working on it. So it's a great recommendation, and it is something that we are following up on. So just give it a little time, though.
Okay.
All right, Chuck. I appreciate you, brother.
All right.
Thanks, Chuck. We appreciate it, man.
All right, brother.
Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe, Kendrick and ATL.
All right, brother.
I'll try. I'm with Ken, so I got nothing to worry about. Here, gangster too.
Okay. All right.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Oh, come on, Edwin. That's cold-blooded.
What's that?
Edwin said, so you saying they replaced him with Del State's Dooley? Jesus Christ. Come on, Edwin. Let me be clear. I was disappointed when Coach Mill State got the heave up, because his last Delaware State team was 4-2. And then, of course, this amazing thing that is still going on, even though people like to pretend it isn't, it's called COVID, swept through the football team. So they finished 5-6. And that was the closest they had come to a winning record. And then, of course, you know, AD Alicia Shields Gaston, she wanted her guy because Coach Milstead was not her hire. And she felt like Lee Hall was the guy. And I'm not going to take anything away from Lee Hall at all. I mean, he won the MEAC at Morgan State in 2014. He was the offensive coordinator for the Howard team that was the leading offense before they even won the MEAC championship the year before. So I'm not saying Coach Hall is a bad coach. I'm just saying that this is a situation where you could have, Bill Collick could come down from the board of trustees and coach this team and they still wouldn't win. You could probably raise up either Eddie, Jake, Big John, whoever else is not with us, you know, and have them coach Delaware State, and it would not matter because, you know, the lack of scholarships, the lack of resources, it matters. It matters. And that's why this team is struggling so bad. And I did want to get to a question that EA asked. I'm going to put it on the screen really, really quickly. And
yeah, I was looking for that. I literally was looking for that. So yeah, I'm glad you found that. Yeah.
Why would DSU take such a small payout for that game? It is a small payout because when you consider, granted, Hawaii's paying for lodging and transportation and all of that, right, and most of the travel, but still, I don't know why they would only accept 180 for that game. I mean, Hawaii, I don't know what their budget is like, but given that it's about 15,000 more than they're paying Northern Iowa, it's just that Hawaii doesn't believe in huge guarantee game payouts. So I mean, it wouldn't matter anyway. But I feel like this was more for the experience because I mean, this team, there's no real expectation that they're going to win the MEAC or anything close. I mean, they were picked to finish 6th in a 16 league, so pretty much let everybody know what they think of Delaware State. So I think this is more just to get those guys out there to see something different, you know. And that's the beautiful thing about college sports, you know, that these kids get to see something outside of their neighborhood, outside of their dorm and all of that. So that's the long way of saying, yes, they're going to get their teeth kicked in, but they'll at least, you know, have some good food and some luau while doing it.
Okay. So let's put some perspective on that though, because I think, so we can confirm the payout is 180, right?
Yes.
And their travel is being taken care of, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Most of the travel up to 100 party. So
up to 100. Okay.
Yeah.
So here is, I understand how that might sound jarring. And I think there is something to what Chris says when he says that a lot of this could very well be due to the fact that, hey, it's Hawaii, man. And it's an opportunity. I remember saying something along these lines before, and I don't want to bring the guy's name up, and this really has nothing to do with him. But I remember Deion Sanders, back when he was at Jackson State, made a similar comment about Alabama State when they were playing UCLA in the Rose Bowl that year when Alabama State played against UCLA a couple of years ago, or whenever that was, and basically talking about the payout and how all of that money might have been used up to go make that trip out to Pasadena from Montgomery. To me, and is the case now with this game with Delaware State going to Hawaii, I still say this. Granted, college athletics is a business. We all know that. But then at the same time, these are students in college with the opportunity to learn. And while these are student athletes, there is something to be said about travel. That is a benefit to me I've always wanted. I love traveling to this day. I love traveling when I was in college, and I love to be able to say that I was able to travel to go someplace as a student journalist at Grambling at the time. When we had the money to go someplace to a school that I had never been before, I found great value in that, and I found that to be an educational experience. So I say all that to say, for those gentlemen on the football team, given the opportunity to take a trip out to Hawaii, that in and of itself, to me, is a learning experience. And sometimes it's not, in a case like that, it may not necessarily be about just simply just making money as much as look, we don't want to lose money on this, and we might just be able to just break even. But ultimately, this is an experience for the student athletes, first and foremost. Another point we need to consider. Keep in mind, all schools, whether it be at the FCS level and even at the FBS level, all schools are not created equally. And contrary to what some of you may think, Hawaii, in the location that it's located in, the school in and of itself, it's not like it's a rich school. It isn't. And matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago when Hawaii, if they're not suffering, and they had some budget issues. They had some serious athletic issues with respect to facilities. I think that's still an ongoing problem with them right now. So it's not like Hawaii is just deep, is deep with cash. That is not the situation there at all. They can woo people to come there to play them, and I don't know how many games they play there during the course of the year. But keep in mind too, as it is an expensive proposition for teams to travel Hawaii, it is also very expensive for Hawaii to leave Hawaii to play teams on the road. So we kind of have to balance these things. Now, granted, if this was somebody like Michigan or Notre Dame, when Graham was playing Ohio State, or Tennessee was playing against Notre Dame, and they've got deep pockets and they can make $1 million payouts, you can't say the same about Hawaii. And so, granted, 180 may seem to be somewhat low on the threshold. I still say that, granted, they're paying for some of their expenses. In the case of Hawaii, that may be pushing it. That may be the max. So I just think that we have to kind of put those things in perspective.
Yeah, like I would agree with that. I know when the schedule first came out and we all saw Delaware State's playing where, people were thinking, well, that's not kind of feasible for them or beneficial for them. But like, once you break it down to the experience you have in college, which is supposed to be an enriching one, which is supposed to be a diverse one, then having your football team make a trip to Hawaii kind of makes sense in that regard. For football reasons, not so much, because as we all know, they're underdog, a 39.5 point underdog, by the way, according to various sports books. Yeah. They're not going to win the game, and in a traveling situation kind of hampered them from the jump. But like, this experience, they'll remember for the rest of their lives. And that's what being in college is all about, having those experiences and remembering them, and like saying, well, like, one year we went to Hawaii to play football. We got to experience a different culture, a different environment, and different atmosphere. And you really can't beat that at the end of the day.
Edwin is asking a question. So the disastrous fire didn't impact the island. I think that was on this game is being played in Honolulu, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
I think that fire was on a completely different island. So I've never been, so I don't know the lay of the land, but I'm pretty certain that fire was on a different island. This is being played in Honolulu, the capital. So
we got to address this, because this is honestly a really good question. EA says the issue returns to what the brother, he's talking about me, obviously, said earlier. If your front porch has been underfunded in the last 15 years with D2 level football scholarships, why make decisions like this? I think, again, it's like we all said. I mean, this is an opportunity for these young men to see something they would have never seen before if they hadn't, accepted the scholarship to Delaware State. I mean, granted, there could have been another school they could have gone to that could have somehow found themselves going to Hawaii on the schedule, but Delaware State made this happen. And while it's a long way, it's 10,000 miles round trip to go 0-1, but these young men are going to be able to, laugh about this, joke about this, whatever college kids do in 2024, because it was probably not that much different from what I was doing in 2003, to be quite honest with you. So, they'll be able to have some fun, enjoy themselves, and it could be a bonding experience for them. Like, they could, literally be over there, seeing the ocean, seeing the blue waters and all of that good stuff on the beach, and just be like, yo, this is what life is really all about. And then they could just talk about what they could do to be a better football team, and then maybe they'll surprise me a team or two this year. I don't know that they will, but I'm trying to hold out hope for such. But I mean, you got to do what you can to raise the profile of your program. The Delaware State football program desperately needs something. Now, granted, being in the news for missing a flight was not it, but anything else after that is an added bonus.
Right.
It is true. And before we get out of here, we want to get season predictions. Who's gonna win the MEAC? Who's gonna win the SWAC? Who's gonna play in the Celebration Bowl? And even quickly, D2, like who's gonna make a run and posting the play? We guys think so. Let's start with the MEAC side of it. Obviously, North Carolina Central is going to be the favorite again, along with Howard. A dark horse in the race might be Morgan State. So who do we think from the MEAC will win the conference and play in the Celebration Bowl? I'll start with Mr. MEAC himself, Ken Rashad.
Hey, man, I don't know if you guys remember those comments. I think it was during SWAC, or not SWAC, but MEAC Media Day, when I think Trey Oliver kind of expressed his level of festivity, not being no one picking him. I'm gonna tell you now, the brother scared me. So you know what? I'm going with North Carolina Central. I ain't betting. I'm not betting against that dude. I'm picking North Carolina Central to win the MEAC and to represent the MEAC conference in the Celebration Bowl. So that statement of his was telling. All due respect though to Dawson Oldham's on the elliptical machine. I'm just saying, but I'm going with North Carolina Central.
Don't want to get on Big Worm's bad side. Don't have to smoke.
Hey man, that is my friend.
Jared Hoffman.
I personally think it's going to be a 4-team race. I think it's going to be Howard also in the mix. I think Morgan is going to be in the mix. And despite popular belief, I think South Carolina State will be in the mix. I think that Jaden Brogdon is going to have a very good season for them. I think Jared Kirksey, who also transferred from Benedict, is going to have a very good season. And I think that one of the underrated moves that happened in the offseason for South Carolina State is Eric Phoenix, who would play quarterback for Benedict in 2022, then transferred to Murray State, and now is at South Carolina State. I think he will have a tremendous season for South Carolina State. Granted, I'm not going to pick South Carolina State to win the MEAC. I'm just saying that they will be in the mix. So anybody saying that this is a bunch of Division II guys that are now playing at the Division I level and they're not going to be as good, get that thought out your mind right now, because they are going to be very good. As far as who I'm going to pick, I'm going to go with the slightest edge, North Carolina Central. I think that there's a lot of questions surrounding everybody, really. I think that Howard, I would not be surprised if Howard got back. I think Eden James is going to have a breakout year this year. Potentially could be the MEAC Offensive Player of the Year. I think that Kenny Gallup is going to continue to cement his legacy as one of the best Howard defenders of all time. I think that Morgan State is just an offense away, but I don't think that offense is there. Unfortunately, this is one of their last seasons they're going to be able to have this unit, with Elijah Williams and E40, Eric Hunter, bound for the NFL draft soon. So if only they had that offense this year, I would be more confident to pick them. But I think that Walker Harris, even though the one game that we saw him was against Mississippi Valley State, it was a very impressive showing. And I think that he has the tools to be able to get it done. I think Jamari Taylor, in his first true season as the team's full-time starter, will have a big year for them. And by the ever slow slightest edge, I'm going to say North Carolina Central wins the MEAC.
Okay, Chris Stevens, your prediction.
If you want to pick Delaware State, it's okay. I understand.
Nah, but I will say this on the record: we will win at least 2 Division I games this year. I'm just going to go on the record and say that. I just feel like not the expectations are pretty doggone low, but I feel like 2 Division I wins are going to happen this year. That being said, as far as the winners of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, Trey Oliver is a gentleman that he may not remember, but my first year as the sports editor of the Hornet newspaper was in 2002. And that Delaware State football team had a brash, young defensive backs coach on there who literally talked up about how his unit was the best in the conference, just that no one else had seen them play because the offense, what took up most of the headlines. That defensive backs coach was Trey Oliver. So I've known Trey Oliver of him for over 20 years. This is always who he's been. He's always been a brash, confident, tell it like it is kind of guy. And I have no reason to believe that he doesn't believe in his team. And they have so much to prove after getting skull drugged by Howard University on the field of Green Stadium last year. Like, that was a beatdown that none of us saw coming. Because I never forget, I came back from Delaware State football game. I was like, all right, let me check on this Central Howard. What? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I don't think Trey could believe it either. And I don't think anybody on that team could believe it. So the revenge of the Eagle, Eagle pride and all of that, I got Central winning this thing. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be close.
I was there for that. I was there for that 50-20 game in person. And yeah, they were not happy. So I think that cross that game off on your schedule.
Yes.
Circle it. It's going to be very entertaining, and it's going to be in Durham. So
on the ESPN family of networks on a Friday.
I'm gonna go with the fellas, and I'm gonna pick Norfolk State. No, just playing. I'm gonna pick North Carolina Central. They nearly won the MEAC last year. They made the postseason last year. I think they're going to come back a much more hungrier team, despite the fact they don't have Davis Richard anymore at quarterback. But Walker Harris in his one game, despite the fact he was against Mississippi Valley State, did play pretty well and does have experience himself. And I think they win the MEAC kind of running away. It kind of helps. They do play Howard. They're their rival, at least in the MEAC at home. And I think they win that game, and that's going to be the deciding factor in them going to the Celebration Bowl again. Now shifting to the SWAC, according to the voters in the preseason, it's Alabama State and it's Alcorn State. But do we all agree with that? Is there anybody else that we think could possibly win the SWAC and go to the Celebration Bowl? I'll start with Jared this time.
I do believe that it will be Alcorn State coming out of SWAC West. I think that they have been they've been right there for so many years after their dominant 2010s run. They've been right there. I think they go over now. I think they make that jump, and they finally get over that hump in the SWAC West. I do not have them winning the SWAC, though. I think whoever comes out of the SWAC East will be the SWAC champions, and that team will be Florida A&M. I think of all the teams in the SWAC, I think they have a lot of questions. Don't get me wrong, but also Alabama State has questions. Andrew Body is very good. We saw what he did at Texas Southern, but he's not a proven winner. He is not a proven winner yet. We have not seen Daquan Kinsey, who's transferring from Clark Atlanta. We have not seen him in the system yet. We have not seen how this offense will operate. We know what the defense is going to do. And we know that, Rico Dozier, who is transferring from UAPB, will help their defense immensely. But as we said for Morgan State, what can their offense do to lend support to them? Do I think that Andrew Body is going to lay an egg? No. But I haven't seen him produce at a high level, at a winning level yet. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Florida A&M. I feel like Daniel Richardson is going to prove that he is an elite quarterback. He is going to continue to lead the charge that Jeremy Musa led, with him coming from Vanderbilt. and taking over the Florida A&M program. I think that Daniel Richardson is going to do the same thing. I think that Kelvin Dean is primed for a breakout year, whether that means he is a dual threat as a receiving option and a running option, who knows? And I think the defense is still going to be producing at a high level. Would they be the 2023 dark cloud level good? Probably not, but I still think that they are still just as good at this time around. So I'm gonna go with Florida A&M to win the SWAC.
Rashad, who's going to be the MAC of the SWAC in 2024?
SWAC East. I'm gonna be honest. I go with Alabama State, and I will push back on Jared's point just a little bit with respect to Andrew Body. And you say he isn't a proven winner, but look where he played. He's at Texas Southern. He may not be a proven winner, but he is a proven talent. And I dare say that for the time that he was at Texas Southern, it was his talent that kept him in a lot of those games. That, to be quite honest with you, I think anybody else, I don't know if they could have done what he did, especially at the quarterback line. Now, granted, Texas Southern actually had some decent talent last year, but that's beside the point. Before Body decided he was going to leave, I think he is. Put it like this: the justification to put Alabama State as the predicted winner of the SWAC East is understandable. When you put in consideration on the defensive side and Bubba Adams, that dude, man, has a motor that just does not stop. And I think that for all of the doubts that people had about Eddie Robinson Jr. being named the head coach when he had no previous college experience prior to getting to Alabama State, I think he's shown up to this point that he kind of has a clue what he's doing. So out of respect of what he's been able to do in the offseason, with respect to the fact that Andrew Body is there, respect to the fact of the talent that he has returning with Bubba Adams, I give Alabama State the nod in the SWAC East. Now in the SWAC West.
Say the line.
Honestly, and I'm being that, I don't know. I really don't know. You can make a case, maybe with the exception of UAPB, you can make a legitimate case for every single team on the SWAC West side. I will put it like this. Out of respect, I don't know how PV is going to be this year. Given what they did last year, I really don't know, Kendrick. I'm not trying to be. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that Grambling is going to win the SWAC West. I don't necessarily know that they're going to be. I don't necessarily give them the nod to win the West. I just don't know, man. I think Alabama State, not Alabama State, but Alcorn and PV, I think are probably the choices that you would probably want to go with respect to the SWAC West. But I really just don't know. But to make a decision, I will go ahead and say I go with Alcorn. I go with Alcorn State in the SWAC West.
Chris Stevens.
Eddie Robinson Jr.'s first 2 years at Alabama State.
Hold up. Edwin, so Bubba's no longer at Alabama State?
Yeah, he graduated.
Yeah, he
didn't have any more eligibility?
No, he's gone.
Okay, then I'm my bad.
And Kashawn Johnson, their top receiver from last year, he hit the portal. He's, I believe, at New Mexico now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I knew about Keyshawn. I'm talking about Bubba. I thought he had another year left. So he's not.
Oh, no, I only said that because Edwin put it in the comment.
Okay, so it's.
But Bubba's for sure gone. Bubba's for sure gone.
Okay, then my bad. I stand corrected. Thank you, Edwin. I was not aware of that. I didn't know. But I still go with Alabama State in the East. So go ahead. Appreciate the correction, Edwin. Thank you, sir.
All right, so Eddie Robinson's first 2 years, Alabama State. Third place in the SWAC East, 2022. Second place in the SWAC East, 2023. Ain't but one place left to go. That's first. And yes, Andrew Body is, it's still a question of if he can do it with a team that he actually has a team around him, because that Texas Southern team under Clarence McKinney, boy, that was a nightmare. He was good. He was good to get out of there while he did. So I still think that this Alabama State team is the one that has the most to prove, even more so than Florida A&M, because they've been champions and waiting for a couple of years. People, got on them for hiring Eddie Robinson Jr. Never mind the fact that he's an alum of the school. He actually knows, the school inside and out. And he's proven to be what he said he was. He is SWAC, and he's going to be SWAC East champion in 2024. As far as the West, I'm with Ken. Pick a name out of a hat. As long as that name doesn't, as long as that slip of paper doesn't say Texas Southern, you could be right. And I still
or UAPB.
You know what? I like UAPB. I like what the coach is doing there. It feels like they were in a lot of close games last year. So I mean, I'm not going to discount UAPB, but I
not as contender, Chris. UAPB is not contending for the SWAC West.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that, but I don't think they'll be terrible either. I still think they'll probably surprise a team or two. But
you think they'll be better than Texas Southern?
Yes,
absolutely,
I think
absolutely,
they'll be better than Texas Southern.
Absolutely. Texas Southern's gonna be lucky to win one game this year.
Hey, they got Virginia University Lynchburg on their schedule. So.
That's the one. That's the one. If anything that coach, if you guys haven't seen my story with former VUL runs back coach Doe Edwards, look that up on the website. It's a mess. If that team is going to catch a bus 10 hours on some CC's pizza, then yes, that's going to be Texas Southern's one win in 2024. But as far as the SWAC West goes, I am going to, against better judgment, I'm going to stick with Bubba McDowell and Prairie View A&M. I just think that Prairie View is just. I still think Prairie View has enough left in the tank because we still don't know what Alcorn's quarterback situation is going to be. Yes, Grambling has Miles Crawley and Southern, has some returning guns, but I still think that Prairie View has what it takes. So I'm going to pick Prairie View and Alabama State in the SWAC championship game, and I've got Alabama State winning the SWAC and heading to the Celebration Bowl.
Noah Botton was named the starting quarterback for Southern.
At Southern?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so that's an interesting. That's what I'm saying, man. The SWAC West is anybody's pick. It is anybody's guess. It really is. It's up in the air. It really is.
So who do we got winning the Celebration Bowl then?
Central. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it because as much as I like what the SWAC is doing, I just still think Trey Oliver. The team usually takes on the personality of its coach, and as I've said, Trey Oliver's been who he has been for 20-something years, and I don't think that team marches to the beat of his drum, and they'll be confident, they'll be cocky, and they'll be good and ticked off considering they got Howard told them to pass the sticks last year. So I think that North Carolina Central wins the Celebration Bowl.
North Carolina Central. Now, Graham getting that bad boy.
You know it was coming.
I'm just saying. Anyway.
Jared, who you got winning the Celebration Bowl this year?
Bowie State. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, boy.
I'm actually going to go. I'm going to say North Carolina Central. Yeah, I think they win a close game over Florida A&M.
Oh, so you got family. You're going to the okay.
Yeah, because I said they're going to win the SWAC.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Kendrick.
I got the same matchup, but I think Florida A&M is going to win. They're going to repeat.
I wouldn't be surprised if Florida A&M won it. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And quickly, Division II. I know we said last year that SIAC was probably the most competitive conference in all of Black college football last year. Will the team from out that conference make a run in the D2 playoffs, or who do we got making some noise come late in the season?
I picked when we did our earlier show. I picked Edward Waters to win the SIAC, and as much as I want to back off of that pick now, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna give it to the team in Jacksonville, who is, yes, they're officially in a Division II member now. Yes, they lost quarterback Jerron Russell, but they still return a lot on that defense. And they can find a quarterback that can still get the ball to the guys that are remaining. This is an Edward Waters team who had one of the best second halves of any Black college team in 2023. Only problem, slow in the first half. Like for the last 3 years, they've lost to Florida Memorial in the Tiger Classic. They got to change that. If they can just get Florida Memorial out of the way, I feel like they'll have a strong chance to win the SIAC. So I'm not going to back off my SIAC pick of Edward Waters. Now whether they make noise in the playoffs remains to be seen. But I'm just going to go ahead and stick with my guns here against better judgment and say that Edward Waters is going to win the SIAC.
Jared Hoffman.
I'm going to go with Fort Valley State. I think Sean Gibbs has all the talent around him to lift this team up. He had a great first season there at Fort Valley State, and I think he's building something there. And I think they have what it takes to be good for a very long time. If not, have a run akin to Tuskegee in the mid-2010s or even Benedict in the past 2 years. I think they have what it takes to have that kind of run. So I'm going to pick Fort Valley State to beat Miles in the SIAC championship game.
I'm going to go with Virginia Union.
In the SIAC?
Not the SIAC. I'm talking about just like the best team is out of the.
I thought we were just saying who's going to win the SIAC.
No, just like the best Division II team.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I'm going with like Virginia Union.
Well, if it's just the best Division II team overall, you might need to let Jared answer that question again, because I'm guessing he's going to probably say Bowie State.
Oh, you already know 100%. We're going quick. No, I'm just playing. If I was to say who's going to be the best team in Division II football this year, I might say I think Virginia Union has been being a little too disrespected. Mm-hmm. To be picked second to win the CIAA I think it's a little bit more disrespectful than Florida A&M not being picked to win the SWAC. I think Virginia Union was the best team all year, outside of losing to Fayetteville State in the regular season. But that's when they didn't have Jada Byers. When that was one of the couple of games that he missed due to injury. They returned a majority of their roster this past season, and I think they have what it takes to win at a high level. Do I think they're going to go on a run? I don't think they have the quarterback play. I don't think any Division II program has the quarterback play to be successful in the Division II playoffs. In the Division II playoffs, you have to have either just a dominant defense that we have never seen before or elite quarterback play. And I don't think that Virginia Union has the defense dominant enough or a quarterback who is skilled enough to get them over that hump. So I think that the two top teams will be Virginia Union in the CIAA and Fort Valley State in the SIAC.
All right, Ken Rashad, you're a D2 expert. What say you?
Because I'm a D2 expert, you know better than that. I can't even keep track of the fact that Bubba Adams is no longer at Alabama State. So how could I possibly tell you who's going to dominate the Division II level? Look, man, I'm an executive, okay? I write checks. I look at things from a high level. I don't know who's going to, I'll be honest with you, I don't know who's going to dominate D2. I know who I like. And I think Edwin kind of made the point that Gibbs is going to probably, he said Gibbs is going to probably have a prove FAMU wrong season. Seriously, there may be some validity to that, but I really don't know, man. But just because I want to answer the question, and again, this kind of goes off into my feelings, okay? This ain't got nothing to do with Dawson Odoms, because we're talking about Division II. But you know what I'm gonna tell you to look out for? Tuskegee. Don't ask me why. I say Tuskegee because, you know, Booker T. Washington was the president of Tuskegee. Yeah, I'm going way back there. And Booker T. Washington sent a man by the name of Charles P. Adams to the Piney Hills of North Louisiana. And he said, go there and institute greatness. And you might want to call it Grambling. Booker T. Washington had the foresight to send Charles P. Adams to the Piney Hills of North Louisiana to start the greatest institution in the history of the universe. So with Grambling being as great as it is, I'm not saying that Tuskegee is greater. It's just that it's great because it's longer. So Tuskegee for the Division II nod. That made absolutely no sense, I know. But this is just for entertainment purposes anyway, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I just want to say, if anybody's betting on HBCU football, call the hotline. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah, that last dialogue by Ken sounded like some dude on the street trying to tell you about the Hebrew Israelites.
At least give me, hey, at least give me credit. At least give me credit for letting you know where I stand on this, man. Look, I don't know. Okay.
Oh, God.
Bold prediction for D2 football.
Okay.
Fayetteville State has won 6 straight CIAA South titles. They will not win a 7th.
Ooh.
It will be Johnson C. Smith. That Johnson C. Smith will show out, and they are going to overtake Fayetteville State and win the CIAA South, and then lose to Virginia Union in the CIAA championship game. But they will be the CIAA South champions. I hope that somebody from Fayetteville State sees this and puts this on their bulletin board, because I do not believe that you will win 7 straight.
Ooh.
Apparently, according to one of our commenters, somebody's comment, they already made the rounds in FAMU circles. So that might not be too far off, Jared.
What's that? What was that again?
Yeah. EA posted. He's been a really great poster today. Keep getting on Ken, man. We need more of that.
What? I haven't been paying attention. What did he say?
He said, this is what he said. He said, Ken, your comments just went viral on the Rattlers player chat. Thank you.
There's a Rattlers player chat?
I guess.
Somebody on a burner.
Yeah, gotta be.
Somebody
Gotta
on
be.
a burner.
Gotta be.
That was awfully quick.
Because I was about to say, ain't no way that we in a player chat that quick.
Yeah, that was awfully quick.
No, it's not we, it's Ken.
Ken,
We got nothing to do with that.
Excuse me. Ken is in their player chat that quick. Somebody.
Ken.
I like this comment by Edwin real quick. Let me put this on the screen.
CAU has the distracted. You know what, man? Look, we need to talk about that red field, man. Damn, that's a loud ass field.
That's a lot of red, man.
It's a bit much.
If you're near,
That's
if you're
Nuke red right
nearsighted-
there, ain't it?
Huh?
That's Nuke red, ain't it?
Look, man, stop playing with my frat. That's a loud
Oh,
field.
we getting serious now.
No, I'm just saying.
Hey, man, talk about my friend.
Okay. Hey, doesn't Eastern Washington have isn't there some
Yeah, they got a
red
red field too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a loud field, man.
It's all
That's
red. CAU's end zones are black. I'm gonna tell you something from experience with being nearsighted. If you are a nearsighted person, that field is going to give you hell, and I'm going to tell you why. In the early aughts, because I've been a sports reporter for.
Stop it.
Oh my-
Stop
Hey,
it.
where
Stop it.
you
Stop
from?
it. Stop it
Look,
now.
man.
Stop it
Hey,
now.
that may be the comment of the show.
Stop
Hey,
it.
where you from, brother? Don't too many people know about Pyru. I'm from LA. I'm just saying.
Let's not go any further into
West
this.
Side.
Oh my
Nope.
God.
Yo. All right, so real quick, back in the early aughts, when I was a student reporter covering Delaware State football, North Carolina A&T used to have white jerseys with gold numbers and gold letters. And Dover in the fall has a really bright sun. So we were in the press box trying to figure out numbers. We were like, is that 87? No, that's actually 24. So if you're a nearsighted person and you go to see Clark Atlanta on that red field with those black and red jerseys, God bless. You're going to have a hard time watching that game.
Man, I saw that field and I was like, ooh, wee, that might just give them a home field advantage, man.
It should.
Because Boise State had the blue turf, and I think the Mountain West banned them from wearing all blue jerseys because they blended in with the turf.
Yeah, but the blue, that's to me that's a little bit more subtle. Now I hate the blue too. I hate that blue field. I do.
Smurf turf.
but
Livingston has a similar one too. They have a light blue and black.
Yeah, I right. But man, that red, by the way, that's wow. And for those of you making those noob comments, it's crimson, not red.
He had to make it clear. I know.
Don't sleep on Clark Atlanta either. They have a new unit coming in. They had basically almost everybody from Allen who had a breakout season last year. I think they finished 6-4, 7-3 last year. David Wright, who won the SIAC Player of the Year, is now at Clark Atlanta. Teddy Keaton, who was the head coach of the team, is now there. So don't count out Clark Atlanta to have a breakout season this year.
And with that, I'm Kendrick. That's Jared, Chris, and the noob himself, Ken Rashad. Thanks for joining us today on our pregame show to kick off week 0 and the official start of Black college football season. Tonight, all three of us, myself, Ken, and Jared, will be at Turner Field covering the MEAC SWAC Challenge. We'll have post-game coverage on our website, on our social media accounts, and maybe even on YouTube. Chris will be diligently watching Delaware State play out in Hawaii in the middle of the night.
I will.
Well, you said you were. You got to take a long nap first.
I'm gonna try my darndest, man. Believe me, I'm gonna try.
So before we go, guys, look, man. Edwin kind of alluded to this earlier. We got more talent on. So Reggie Flood is back, and he's here to stay. Contract negotiations fell in his favor, and so now that's more money. And Kendrick wants more money, and Chris and Jared want more money. And so you know what? We need to make more money. So look, become a member, support the channel. I hope you enjoy the content. But number one, number two, at $4.99 a month, man, it would go a long ways in helping us to create better content. It will help us find ways to be creative with the content, but most importantly, man, we'll continue to uphold the standards that we do hold ourselves to, and in addition, provide you with some additional perks such as specialized content and discount to our merch, for discounted merch sales and so forth. So support the channel, and that's pretty much it. Kendrick, are we coming back on? We're not doing anything tonight, are we?
No, there will be no post-game show tonight after the game. It's going to be pretty late. Right. But we will have no stories on our website. We will have like social media content.
And post-game interviews.
And post-game interviews that will be posted to our YouTube page after the game. So be on the lookout for that stuff. We're going to have a lot of content for you this year, throughout the week, leading up to games and even post-game as well. So we're excited about that. Thanks for sticking with us today. And hopefully throughout the rest of the regular season, provide you all the coverage you need for Black college football, which we hope will be a very exciting season.
Behold the green and gold.
Hashtag Team Tiffany.
And with that, we're out. Thanks, folks.